What's up everybody, it's Andy here and welcome to my Game Week 8 preview where I take you through my team and my thoughts for the upcoming game week, who I'm going to captain, who I'm going to bring in and who I'm thinking of getting rid of either this week or in the near future. This week, it's been ages since the last, it feels like ages since the last preview anyway. Obviously I've done a couple of videos over the international break, but actually going into transfers and stuff, I've not really given it too much thought up until the last day or so. So we're just going to jump straight into it and I'll go through the transfers I'm looking to make and how my current team looks. Obviously, there's been a few injuries over the break, so we'll look at that on my team and see how I'm affected. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So this is the team for this week. I'm going to run through kind of the players that I think you don't really want to hear too much about, and go through the ones that are a bit more key, like captain, you know, Man City players I'm going to bring in. Am I looking to get rid of Mkhitaryan, etc., etc. They're the kind of things that people are talking about this week. So we'll start with Foster in goal. I think it's a bit of a toss-up really between, in fact now I'm looking at now, Foster's got Leicester away, Elliott's got Southampton away. I'm actually probably going to switch to Elliott because Southampton can't score goals. So I think the Foster-Elliott rotation is not great right now. Elliott looks okay for a few weeks. Newcastle have been pretty good defensively, but Foster and West Brom just not looking as good. Plus West Brom's fixtures start to dry up a bit. They're not as good as they were at the start of the season. So ideally I'd want Fabianski or even maybe better Pope from Burnley in goal. But as I'm not wildcarding just yet, I'm going to stick to these two and play Elliott this week. And before I go on, just to say, I've got 2 free transfers this week. I've still not wildcarded. I'm probably going to hold on to it till about game week 12. That's the next international break. There's also quite a fixture swing again then. And I'll come on to why. I did a whole video on wildcards, but I'll come on to a small point about why I haven't done it just yet. Basically, injuries have fallen for me so far. So leaving it at that, I'm a ranked 448k. But going back to my team, so Ben Davies, it picks himself. I still think he's the best value defender in the game right now. Danny Rose is nowhere to be seen. I think that's a clean sheet waiting to happen for Spurs at Bournemouth. Spurs at Bournemouth at home. And potentially there's attacking returns from them. We saw he got a goal assist clean sheet last week or last game week. And I think he can do that again against Bournemouth. So he's obvious. Jones, injured. I'm hoping that's an international break injury. It looks pretty good for him. I think he's going to play. We'll have to wait and see what Mourinho says in the press conference. If he doesn't play, then I'm kind of stuck because Long doesn't play, Sutton doesn't play. I've got no backup. I will have to make a transfer for that, which I don't want to make, but that might force me to play a wild card. But we'll come on to that later. And then Norton, Huddersfield at home looks a good fixture. Swansea are probably a bit unlucky not to get a clean sheet in the last game against West Ham. But against Huddersfield at home, I think they're looking pretty good for one there. So I'm happy with my defence as long as they all play. Liverpool could score, but I think Mourinho's, even if it's just a big game and not a big game, he sets up defensively pretty well. We still got Matic there, we still got De Gea. Obviously we've got Pogba injured, Fellaini probably injured as well, but I think that key core of De Gea, Matic, and then obviously the back four is looking pretty good. So Jones, if he plays, is going to be fine. Salah, people are starting to get a bit itchy feet about him. Coutinho's obviously back and done well in the first couple of weeks that he's been back. But I still like Salah. I think he's playing really far forward. He's always dropping off the last man or on the shoulder of the last man, looking to drop in. So I really like him still. The next 2 fixtures aren't great. It's Man United at home and Spurs away. Not expecting too many points, but after that I think they're going to be fine. Manning is injured though, so Liverpool tend to do worse without him, don't score as many goals. But I think it's a bit different this time because Coutinho can play left, Salah can play right, Firmino through the middle. And I think they probably cope a bit better without Mane than they have done before. So, yes, he is a miss, but I think Salah will still do okay. And then Eriksen, I can't get rid of him against Bournemouth at home. He's the top scorer midfielder in the game. He's quite pricey. He's like 9.6, 9.7. I got him for 9.5. But I just think every other game, pretty much, he's getting some kind of attacking where he's getting a goal, getting an assist. I think there's definitely goals in this one. So attacking returns look good. Spurs fixtures maybe drop off a little bit now. But I just think he's good value and he's going to do the business. He's shown the last couple of years he's been very consistent. And I don't see a big reason to get rid of him, so I'm going to keep him. Atsu, potentially a problem. He's got an injury. Again, international break, I'm always a bit wary about how big these injuries are. Southampton away is not the greatest fixture anyway. Newcastle's fixtures do get a little bit better for the next few weeks, but up around game week 12 they really do turn. So Atsu's probably not going to be on my team too much longer. But unless there's some really bad news about him this week, I'm going to play him anyway against Southampton away and hopefully he'll get something. Even if it's just an assist, that's all I need from him. Mkhitaryan, now, I'm thinking about getting rid of him. For anyone that watched the Scoutcast, I'm recording this video on Tuesday night. I've just done the Scoutcast. We talked about Mkhitaryan. Basically, he's not creating as much as he was. He's created like 4 times as many big chances or something like that in the first 4 game weeks. The first 3 game weeks than he has done in the last 4 game weeks. So he's really dropped off, and it coincided really with Pogba getting injured. And now Fellaini's out too. I feel like Mourinho's maybe going to have to change the system up a bit, and I don't know how it's going to affect him. Obviously, we've got Lukaku to bang in the goals. Rashford and Martial are doing okay on the right. Mata's not doing too bad either. But I just worry about him. I think he started off with a bang. He was obviously never going to keep up that rate of assists. It was crazy high anyway. But I just think with our tougher fixtures, I mean, Liverpool away, I'm expecting us to score, but there's no guarantee that Mkhitaryan will be involved. Huddersfield could be an okay fixture. Then it's Chelsea and Spurs. That's not looking too good, I don't think, for him. And I just think with Man City doing so well, maybe now's the time to switch out. My only issue is I got him for 8 million, so I've made some money on him. If he starts to do really well again, I'm going to have to pay more to get him in, but I think I'll make that back on the Man City mid. So one of the transfers I'm looking at is Mkhitaryan to a Man City mid. Now, Silva would be the obvious choice. He's done really well. He's playing where we thought De Bruyne was going to play. He's getting assists. He's second top scoring midfielder in the game. He's playing most minutes. City are scoring 4 or 5 goals a game. Looks like he's going to keep playing. But I do like with Aguero out, Sterling and Sané, it looks like those two are probably going to get quite a few minutes. Sterling scored 5 goals this season, almost out of nowhere. No one's really been talking about him. 2 home games as well. Sterling's the cheapest at 7.9, so depending on what transfers I make, I may just do him for the money. But I like Sané. It did really well for me last year. He just looks like a class player. I'm surprised he hasn't played more minutes. But I guess that's what the problem with Man City, when they've just got so many attacking assets. He's not always going to get those minutes, but I think I'm going to do Mkhitaryan to a Man City midfielder. Which one I'm not going to confirm in this video because I don't know, and I'll need the rest of the week to think about it. It'll probably be Sterling, but I like Sané. Even though Silva's probably the most obvious one, I probably won't go for him. I just think I'm probably going to have one of these midfielders for the next few weeks. When Aguero comes back, it gets a bit trickier. Plus, I've got the wild card to come anyway. So this player potentially for me is only in for a couple of weeks, and I just think over the long term, Silva will probably do really well and better than all of them. But over the short term, I think Sané and Sterling are quite explosive and could beat Silva. So I'm going to go for one of those two. I just haven't decided which. Moving up front, this is why I've not really wildcarded, because Aguero's got injured, Morata's got injured, Lukaku, yes, he's still scoring, but fixtures about to get a bit tougher for him. Lacazette, I'm still not sure about him. Arsenal's fixtures are okay. So basically, I got Jesus, Aguero got injured, and now Jesus looks like he's going to play most matches. I think he'll get minutes. There's people saying that he's going to come off early, he's not going to play all the games, but he's had so much rest already. He's barely made it past 60 minutes in any of the Premier League games. So I'm confident he's going to play in place of Aguero, which I think is pretty obvious, but I mean play consistently for like 70, 80 minutes. I think that's going to happen. Maybe that's confirmation bias, I don't know. But I think the next 2 fixtures look good for him. So no real need for me to wildcard, because I don't want to bring any of those players in. I'm still not quite sure on my midfield what I want to do with it. If I can swap Mkhitaryan, I've got 2 tree transfers, so if I can swap Mkhitaryan to a Man City mid, then I've kind of already got the template that people are going for. Atsu, yes, potentially a problem, but I'm not too concerned about him right now. Like I said, this whole video will change if Jones and Atsu are both out. Then I may play the wildcard late, but we'll see. Playing the wildcard late is a bit of a nightmare, because then you've only got a few days to think about it. But it's definitely an option. I don't want to rule it out. But yes, going back to it, I'm not wildcarded. I think I've got Jesus. I'm pretty happy with that. May even captain him over the next 2 weeks. Kane's just a bit of a, well, not a problem, but it's hard not to captain Kane. So he is going to be my captain, I think, this week against Bournemouth. Bournemouth are pretty leaky. Yes, Spurs are at Wembley. Kane's already scored there a few times this season. I don't think this perceived drought is going to continue. The man just scores goals, and I think he's easily going to do that up against Bournemouth. And then we come on to Firmino. So he is a tricky one for me. I think, while I'm not worried too much about Salah with Mane out, I am a bit more worried about Firmino. He's not making it past 70 minutes too much. Klopp doesn't look too bothered about playing Sturridge. So I think Firmino is going to go. Now, Vardy seems the obvious swap. He's got good fixtures. He's around the same price. I think Firmino's back down to 8.5 now. Vardy's gone up to 8.6. There's 0.1 million difference. Vardy's got no Europe to worry about. He's going to play every week. He's probably still on penalties. To me, it's almost like too obvious. I'm going for him because there's no one else around that price mark that I could get. The cheaper ones like Joselu, Abraham, still not sure about. Rashford, for the same reason Mkhitaryan's got tougher fixtures to come. I will look at Rashford later on, but it's just taking up a forward spot. I'm not sure about it. So the two kind of things I'm looking at with transfers is I could do Firmino to a dud striker, and what I mean by that is someone who I'm not really bothered about playing, who's like really cheap, so 4.5, 4.9 kind of area. And then upgrade, say, Tom Carroll to Sterling and play 3-5-2 and keep Mkhitaryan. Or I'm just going to get rid of Firmino and Mkhitaryan, bring in Vardy and Sterling or Sané and just be done. Keep playing the 3-4-3 with Atsu and do that. Or, like I said, I go 3-5-2, keep Mkhitaryan, get rid of Firmino completely for a dud, and then do Tom Carroll up until Sterling or Sané, and then play 5 across midfield with Atsu still in there. So they're my two options. Let me know in the comments below what you think's best. I think people will pretty much say Sterling or Sané plus Vardy. That's probably the safest pick. Here's the thing for you. The last 2 seasons, I've not got 1 goal from Jamie Vardy. I missed out on all those goals in the season that Leicester won the league. For any of you that watch the stream, you'll know that I almost brought him in last year ahead of other people, and then he went and scored for 3 games in a row. I instead opted for Costa, who did nothing. That's another striker that I've always had a bad time with. So, I don't know. Jamie Vardy's a weird one for me. I should just get him in. He looks the obvious pick. There's not really any reasons not to, but we'll see. And then on my bench, Tom Carroll still not doing anything. Sutton has been dropped. Long's been dropped. I am not going to survive without a wild card for much longer, I don't think. November onwards, the fixture list gets crazy. Huge pile up, lots of fixtures. I'm going to need a playing bench. So I probably will wildcard in the next few weeks, but probably not this week, unless those 2 injuries are much worse than I think. So that's my team for this week. Captain Kane, transfers probably Firmino and Mkhitaryan to Man City mid and Vardy. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video, what you think of my transfers, and what transfers are you making. I'd really like to know that. I'd like to see if there's some kind of template. Is there something I've missed? Should I be considering Hazard? In fact, let me just go through Hazard before we end the video, because I know people will mention him. The thing is, let's just say I don't want to get rid of Eriksen and Salah, right? The only way I can afford it is, instead of, let's just say I'm swapping Firmino and Mkhitaryan. So right now I'm thinking Vardy and Sterling. If I want to get Hazard, it's more like Abraham and Hazard. And that just doesn't sound as good. And we don't know what Hazard's going to be like. Morata's not there. I think he's the best option at Chelsea. Batshuayi's probably going to play. I'm not sure he's the player that Chelsea really need. He's a good stand-in to come on at the end or to play as a 2 up front. On his own, he's just not going to hold the ball up. He's not going to create enough like Morata. So I don't think he's that good really for Chelsea. So I don't want to get Hazard in. He's 10.5 million. He's a punt. He's a cheap punt. Sorry, not a cheap punt. He's a differential because he's only like owned by 3.5% or something, which is crazy. So if he fires, you're going to shoot at the rankings. But for me, I just think the combo of Vardy and Sterling is better than Hazard and Abraham. So that's why I'm not going to go Hazard. Just to preempt that in the comments. Still let me know below how I'm wrong about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like the video if you enjoyed it. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe. That'll let you know when my next video is coming out. And also when I'm streaming. So I stream usually 2 nights a week on a normal game week. When it's a shorter game week or a longer one, that does differ. But 2 streams usually. Next one will be Thursday at 9:30 UK time. So be there. I'll answer all your questions from the chat. There's no pre-submit questions or anything like that. Other than that, like, share, retweet, comment, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. I'll catch you next time. Good luck in Game Week 8. Cheers for watching all.